This is prime concept. We are here also to continue explaining our concept of projectile motion. So this is very important. Remember, we are studying the terms that are used to describe projectile motion. In our previous video, we explained the time of flight, how long it will take a projectile to return back to the same plane or surface from which it was projected. We studied that, and we saw the derivation, and we saw the application in solving questions. Now in this video, we want to look at range, or you can call it horizontal range. So we want to study range as another term associated with projectile motion. Now in your WAEC, most of the times your WAEC, your NECO, your JUPEB exam, your 100 level university exams such as UNN, they will ask you to derive the formula. And that is why it is necessary to learn how to derive the formula for range, right? So stick with me in this video till the end. You learn how to derive it. You learn how to apply it to solving problems. So first, let's define horizontal range. Horizontal range is the total horizontal distance covered by a projectile. This is the total horizontal distance covered by a projectile. The total horizontal distance. So if we draw our diagram for projectile motion this way, then this total distance is called range, which we denote with the symbol capital R. Some books may use X, but then I would prefer to use R. So this distance from this point to this same point on the plane is what we call range, the total horizontal distance. So we want to see the formula for finding range, see how we can derive this formula. So very quickly, we're going to still use the same relationship we used previously. Now, if you recall from equation of motion, H is equal to ut plus half gt squared, right? Now, since we are interested in horizontal component of motion, what it means is that for our horizontal component, I will replace the height with what? The distance r, which is our range. And then since we are dealing with horizontal, this u becomes what? Ux, horizontal component of initial velocity. Then this time, remember, your range is from here, this point to this point. It means the time should be the total time, which I will replace with capital T. Now we know that for horizontal components, we don't have the acceleration because the acceleration is 0. For horizontal components, we talk about constant velocity, acceleration is 0. So meaning that this part would tend to what? 0 because of G. So for horizontal, G is what? 0. So it means I will just have R equals Ux times T. So this is a very important formula for range, but we're not going to stop here. We're going to still analyze it further to simplify. And we'll have that R is equal to Ux. Ux from our introductory video, Ux is actually U cos theta, then times capital T. From our previous video, we said it is the time of flight, and we derived the formula to be 2U sine theta over G. So it means we can then say that U, watch what I'm going to do, 2U times U is going to give me 2U squared. So that I would have, okay, let's do it this way for the sake of what we know in trig. Let me write it this way. So let's say U times U would give me U squared. Then I would say 2 sine theta times cos theta is going to be 2 sine theta cos theta, all divided by what now? G. So this is what we have, but I'm not going to still leave it at this point because we know there's a trigonometric identity that says that sine 2 theta is equal to 2 sine theta cos what? Theta. There's a trig identity which in my strict class, I'll be showing you how this was actually obtained. You'd learn it. So, but for now, let's just use it. Sine 2 theta is 2 sine theta cos theta. So it means that in place of 2 sine theta cos theta, I'll be writing sine 2 theta. So that my formula reduces to r equals u square sine what now? 2 theta, all divided by what? G. And this is my formula for finding what? The range, total horizontal range. R is u square sine 2 theta over G. Now there are things that are very special about range, which we're going to mention about 2 of them that you should know about range. So deductions. Number one deduction about range that you should know is that you would get maximum range would occur at theta equals what? 45 degrees. When we say maximum range, if I'm projecting this marker and I want it to travel very far, it means I should project in such a way that the angle this marker makes with the horizontal to be what? 45. If I can project this at an angle such that theta is 45, this thing will travel a far distance compared to somebody that just throws it without checking the angle. So it means the maximum horizontal distance is covered when theta is 45. Exam can decide to twist this idea you already know. So they don't want to give you directly, say theta is 45. You should know that when theta is 45, you come to this formula. You see that what you have here is 2 theta. If theta is 45, it means that 2 theta is going to be what? 90 degrees. So if 2 theta is 90 degrees, it also means that sine 2 theta is going to be what? 1. So they can use any of these things. These are conditions for maximum range. When theta is 45 degrees, or you can say when 2 theta is what? 90 degrees, which is the implication. Or you can say when sine 2 theta is what? 1. Any of these things are conditions for what? Maximum range. So take note of that. Now, number 2 very important deduction about range is that at constant, okay, not constant, at same velocity, comma, complementary angles give same range. What do I mean by this statement? First of all, you want to understand what complementary angles are. Complementary angles are angles that add up to 90 degrees. These are complementary angles. And we are saying that when velocity is constant, if you have 2 conditions, say condition 1, velocity is 30 meters per second. The first velocity. Condition 2, velocity is also 30. So this means that velocity is what? The same. So for this first situation, they tell you that the angle of projection theta, let's say it is 30 degrees. They say the range. What would the range be? We can calculate it. So what we are saying is that since our velocity is the same, they come here and give you another angle, say 60 degrees. What will the range be? We are saying that their range would be what? The same. Why would their range be the same? As long as their velocities are the same and then the angles are complementary, the range must be what? The same. When you say complementary, 30 plus 60 would add up to 90. So for the same velocity, complementary angles always give the same what? Range. Take note of that. So if I ask you, this is 15 degrees, which other angle would give me the same range as 15 degrees for the same velocity? Which other angle would give me same range as 15 degrees for the same velocity? Drop the answer in the comment section if you understand this. Which other angle would give me the same range as 15 degrees for the same velocity? Tell me if you understand this. So quickly, these are the 2 important points I want you to note about range. the maximum range when it occurs, and then the complementary angle concept. So before we end, we want to look at one example that can help us digest the idea of range. Alright, let's look at this problem to really help us understand the concept of range. And the question says a projectile is launched with an initial velocity of 35 meters per second. So u is 35 meters per second. That's the initial velocity. At an angle of 60 degrees to the vertical. So take note. Don't just jump into solving problems. Read it carefully so you don't make mistake. They said at an angle of 60 degrees to the vertical. It means I won't be solving with 60 degrees because they said to the vertical. Assuming they said to the horizontal, then I'll be using 60 degrees. But because they said to the vertical, it means that this is what they have just given us. If you draw this diagram, this is your projectile. It means that rather than giving us this angle, they gave us this angle at 60 degrees. But this is the angle we need. So in order for us to get this angle we need, you know that everything here is 90. So you simply say 90 minus 60 to give us 30. So it means our angle theta is 30 degrees, not 60. Take note of that very important point. 60 degrees to the vertical, it means theta is 30. Find the range. That is the first question. So let's start with that. Find the range. It is very straightforward. Now we're using G as 9.81 meters per second. So our range from what we just derived is u square sine 2 theta over what? Over G. So our range is going to be, our u is 35 all squared sine 2 into theta, which is 30 degrees. So divided by 9.81. So to solve this, I have that 2 times 30 is 60. So sine 60 is 0.866. 0.866 times 35 square. Then divided by 9.81. So this would give me a range of 108.14 meters. Remember, range is the distance, so it's measured in meters. So this is what I have as my range. Now, but we have a second part of this question, which says, what is the gain in range if it is launched at 60 degrees to the horizontal? So it means that theta in this second case is 60 degrees, right? Yes. So what is the gain if it is launched at an angle of 60 degrees to the horizontal at same velocity? At same velocity. Now, our initial range was calculated using an angle of launch, theta as what? 30 degrees. And in this second case, velocity is the same, but our angle of launch is what? 60. So without solving, you can see that 60 degrees and 30 degrees are what? Complementary. So it means that if I call this my first range, it means that my second range, R2, is still going to be the same as R1. But for the sake of verification, I would solve with you so that you see. Why are they the same? Because the angles are complementary. So let's solve it. So R2 is going to still be using this formula. Remember, the velocity is the same. So I'll be using 35 square sine 2 times, in this case, our angle now is 60 degrees to the horizontal. So that's what I'm using, 60 degrees divided by 9.81. So if you also evaluate, you would see that 2 times 60 is 120, and sine 120 is 0.8660 times 35 squared divided by this. You still confirm with me that the answer R2 is still 108.14 meters. So which simply means that R1 and R2 are what? The same. But is that what they are asking us? No. Now the question says, what is the gain in range? The gain in range, gain is going to be R2 minus what? R1. That is the gain in range, right? Yeah, it's just like saying profit in range. So assuming that R2 was bigger than R1, it means there will be a profit, there will be a gain. But then you can see that they are the same. It means that there is no gain in range because R2 minus R1 will be 0. 108.14 minus 108.14, and the answer is 0. So meaning that there is no gain in what? Range. That is what it means in this case. So I believe that this concept of range is clear to you under the projectile motion. So do well to check out my next video under maximum height. I'll be doing the derivation, explaining this and giving you example that would help you internalize and digest this point. If you are yet to subscribe, just hit the subscribe button, like this video, comment, and share with 10 of your friends. Tell them it's prime concept. I'll see you in my next video. Thank you.